Bet. Guys, before anything, drop a number one in the chat if you can actually hear me. Right. Just want to make sure. Cool. What's ever good. But what is up, guys? Hopefully y'all having an amazing night so far. And honestly, super excited. I always tell this to Vinny all the time. Like, when he hit me up and like texted me, he's like, hey, I'm here again. I'm over here. And I was like, hey, what's up? And he's just like, hey, let's, what do you think of doing like a whole, Smart Money collab again? Because last time we did a call like this, guys, the feedback was amazing. And everybody was just always asking for it. So easy, like I said, like if you just send this one to one person in general, send them a link, let them know we're live, because maybe people are at work, maybe people don't even know that anything about trading, maybe who knows what. So let everybody know that we're officially live now. But guys, first and foremost, I am you, you are me, right? What does that mean? And overall, like, I'm just obsessed with the trading, just like you guys, bro. Like, I've been in the game for now going on like almost 4 years now. So if you are kind of brand new, this is the first time you're ever hearing about me. Like I said, I've been in the game for now going on 4 years, live here in Dallas, Texas. And one of the biggest things I've always said throughout the whole journey is if you can find a way on how you can actually be obsessed with this whole game, guys, like you're going to really overcome so many obstacles more than you think, and I get it. As corny cliche, we hear it like, oh, I hear this all the time. People talk about it. I know, Neri. But the reality truth is this, like, there's one thing to know, but to fully, truly understand, there's multiple stories that I kind of hear throughout the journey that that I'm going to continue on going through as well with you guys, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like, I'm literally just a student. Like,
we can't hear you.
Yeah, your audio cut out.
What about now?
Oh yeah, there you go.
It was this right here. So no, I'm literally just a student just like you guys. Like, there's so many people on this call that I can like freaking name. And like first and foremost, like, we have, the host of the call, like, we have Vinny, we have Ozzy, we have pretty much people like Will Mill on the call. Like there's so many people on this call that I can say that I really look up to, not because of my height, like because I'm kind of short in person, if you know. But I really look up to these people, like guys, like even I know I have to go like this, but I really look up to them. De verdad, lo digo. And then, like the biggest thing, like I always say is it's amazing to see on how it is that all of these guys, like we really all come from the same background, and all we did was just pretty much be the first ones in row. Like, have you ever like noticed in school where there would be that one kid outside the door waiting for the classroom to open? I'm that one kid. Well, not really in school because I was never like that. But when it came down to trading, if we had a real life trading school, like in person, you would probably see me first in there. And it was because of the fact on how I knew where trading was going to go. And all of you guys, if y'all didn't know, like, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be here if you really truly didn't know. But like a lot of us need to understand that if you can just put the skill set first and put the money after, then everything will kind of come into play. Because you're going to hear the story all the time. Like you're going to hear it multiple times on how Junior and Gio and everybody edifies me. Like, oh, this girl almost quit because of $2. And it's true. I got the screenshot. That's true. I almost quit because I saw negative $2 on my my live account, because I was so eager on making money. I was so eager. I remember first getting started and the people around me just like, oh, like, we're going to make some money tonight. And I'm just like, dude, if y'all going to make some money, like count me in. And they're like, no, you don't even know your basics. And by the way, Powerhouse wasn't even a thing. I saw Junior, but me and Junior never really kind of talked at all. Like, this is my first time ever. I'm like, bro, like y'all going to make money, right? Yeah, come on, let's get it. And next thing you know, like I was like literally 1 hour, less than 1 hour in. So I didn't even do my basics. I didn't know what a pip was. I didn't know what stop loss was. And so like we go in and next thing you know, I see negative $2 drawdown and I freaked out. And it's so crazy. Like I know a lot of us can say like when we, cause I'm kind of like the opposite right now, like from everybody's stories, like, oh, when I first got presented to this, I knew this worked and I was ready to go all in. I was kind of the complete opposite. When I saw that $2 negative drawdown, guys, I freaked out and I literally pulled, like I told the person like, hey, get me out this trade out right now. Like again, I didn't even know how to trade. I didn't know the stop loss, entry, none of that. I just said, get me out this trade. So they helped me, got me out. And obviously they were in blues because of me not being patient, not know what I was doing. But I told them like, bro, get out of me. And I really sat there and I was like, damn, these guys lied to me. Like, this ain't nothing, man. And bro, it was just spread. It wasn't even like a crazy drawdown. It was just freaking spread. And so like over time, I just realized that, you know what it was? Like, it was the fact on just the eagerness. And at the same time, just really just understanding that, okay, the skills first before anything, guys. And so like later down the road, like that same night, right? The next day, because it was like really midnight, the next day happened. I woke up and I literally said, like, I am not going to do this. Like, I'm like, I just want to go to school. I want to be a dentist. I just want to go do this. I want to go do that. Forget trading. Like, I don't want to do this. And then like, obviously shout out to the person that, you know, again, that brought me in. You know, I called him. I was like, dude, I don't want to do this. Like, this ain't for me. And so he was just like, dude, like, you know, you barely like, you're only like less than a day in, like, you know, give it a shot. Like, nah, bro, I just want to go to school. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. Like, I don't think this trade's for me. And like, he just kept telling me come over and over. Like, and that's when he just like, okay, cool. I understand. I'm gonna respect your decision. But let me just tell you this before you did. You know, he said, you just don't know, right? You just don't know. And so over time, you know, in that moment, I'm just like, okay, whatever, bro. Just, I don't know what. You tell me. I don't know. You're right. I don't know anything because I'm negative $2 drawdown. I just lost $2 that night. Forget it. And so like, long story short, he was like, you just never know. And then so hung up again at that time being, I was just barely graduating high school. And at that, I was just lost. I was like, you know, forget it. Called the guy back and I was like, let's just do it. The next thing you know, again, fast forward, just kind of just started on. And from that point on, never looked back after since. And the next thing you know, decided to become one of the most obsessed people on trading. That's all I would say. You know, you guys can say whatever you want to call me. I think I've to this day, I just still consider myself the most obsessed person. So if like I get so geeked out when it comes on to charts and stuff like that. So if you see me laughing, giggling, I'm not crazy. I promise you, I'm just having fun with the charts. But the biggest thing in general was the fact on like, guys, the thing is, it's like you never know. So if you're that person right now that is, it's not, you haven't even made a withdrawal or it's not clicking to you or anything like that. I promise you this, it's like the skill works. Okay. The skill works, the system works. It's all there. It's just the question is, are you going to make it work and let the time do its thing? But as well to ask the questions and do what you have to do and ask the mentors, guys, because if like, you know, I'm not sure if Junior's on here, but Junior was the main person I kept bugging the whole time. Whenever I officially part of the Powerhouse, I said, guys, like, Junior, I really want to learn this stuff. And he's like, okay, cool. Just do this, do that. And I didn't hesitate. I said, I'm going to do it. And I learned it. And boom, fast forward. I learned smart money concept like within 5 months of my own journey. Again, I wasn't looking for speed or fast. That's where people can kind of get confused. And we're going to get inside the charts real quick, guys. But I kind of want to share this real quick for anybody that's kind of like less than a couple of whether months or days in this right now. But guys, understand this. People don't get confused with trying to learn this the fast way. There is a thing that is more an efficient way. Because the thing is, whenever I decided to say, okay, cool, because there's 2 dates. And I said this in the California workshop because again, I decided to fly out there just because I wanted to be a student. Just because we had never been done before, like the admins inside Powerhouse all in one workshop. I was like, bro, no brainer. I'm going to freaking be there. I'm going to be there and kind of see it for myself. Like, you know, because again, you had Vinny on there, you had Will Mill on there, you had Krista for the Monday Range host, you know, you had obviously Junior, the founder of Powerhouse. Like, you're talking to me like that was the first time ever of doing anything. And I was just like, bro, I'm going to go fly out there. Obviously, I'm just going to sit down and just do my thing. And at the same time, I have to do Junior's content. But, you know, the biggest thing was me actually just paying attention to everybody and just really listening in. And that's where, guys, if my suggestion to you right now is if you just really apply pressure, because there's going to be 2 dates, the day you get started and the day you decide to go all in into trading, right? And so I decided to go all into trading and everything just started quick for me over like, you know, little by little, right? Because I was always bugging Mike inside the chats, you know, until, you know, I think it's so crazy to me. He remembers because I like, you know, I didn't think he was going to remember, but it's like, if you think your charts, you know, and this is the thing, guys, if you think like your chart is wrong, if you're marking up a chart and you think it's wrong, forget it. Just drop it inside the chat. Why are you looking for perfection? You have to look for progression. You stop looking for perfection, look for progression. And that's what I was seeking for every single day whenever I put foot into those charts. I said, forget the perfection. What's the worst thing that can happen? You know, oh, I get a chart wrong, Mike corrects it in front of thousands of people on Go Live. Who cares? Like, who cares? Like, that's actually the reason why I'm paying for this every single month. So I can get there in an efficient time manner. I never looked at the clock. I never looked at the date. I just said every single day, and it's so great. I should have got it all together before this call, but I have all these screenshots of every single day of my note and my journal with me, the confirmation checklist and everything like that. And so even for people that are my veteran traders as well too, sometimes for us as well, and I'm gonna be the first one to raise my hand first before anything, is even if we're in the game for quite some time, sometimes in our inside our journey, we haven't yet been able to get to that next level because of a certain type of image that we have for ourselves. And what does that mean? It's like, think about it. If you've been in for a couple years, like already, and I'm gonna raise my hand first because I'm about to already almost about to reach my 4 years in this game. It's like, if you think about it, if we've been in the game for quite some time, we have an image for ourselves of where we're supposed to be at because we've been in for so long. But that's sometimes where, and if you think about it, it's like, let's just say for me, an example, I'm gonna just put myself like, just for an example. Let's just say I was 4 years in the game and I had no results and I had nothing like that. I barely been able to make withdrawals or whatever the case may be. I'm not consistent with my profitability, whatever, all that stuff. It's like, sometimes it's never the technical. Sometimes, yes, it's the psychological perspective majority of the time of it. But really, it's because we have this image of where we're supposed to be. So then we start to over leverage. And so we start to do all these things just to get us where we're supposed to be, because that's what the expectation we're supposed to give to people, because we don't want to tell a person, hey, yeah, I've been here for 4 years, bro. Yeah, I'm still a student with you. Oh, oh, it's crazy. That person over there pretty much has been in for 2 months and I'm barely getting the results that they just getting right now. And it's like, it had hit reality to me whenever I was on my second year, and then someone that was joining for 2 months was already gaining like more results than me. And I was like, dude, what the heck? And so like over time, again, I thought I was supposed to be somebody at a certain period because I'm already been here for 4 years. Guys, there's a lot of people inside this call right now as I speak that has made a lot more money than me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all guys made some more money than me. So I really commend you guys right there. Like I said, I just know what I know because of what the Go Live educators have taught me. And if you follow my second page on Neri Trades, everything that I show on my content right there, guys, it's just things that I've just currently learned. So it's like, if you allow yourself to understand that inside trading, erase the image that you're supposed to be inside the game because of the certain years that you're in, or as well too, for the new people that have been in for quite some time as well, for a couple of days or months or so. I get it. It's exciting to see on on Instagram, people trading and making all this money on their phone. But as well too, if you want to succeed and again, survive this game inside trading, you have to set yourself the right expectation. But when you set yourself the right expectation and understand that whatever happens inside the game, you were supposed to be at where you're supposed to be at in that period of time. You're supposed to be there at that period of time, because the last thing you want to do, right? And again, I'll start sharing my screen right now. But the last thing you want to do, guys, is this, right? Is if 4 years pass by, 4, 5, 6 years pass by, and you feel like that, yet you haven't been able to get results, you keep on going. I wonder if he's actually on this call. I don't know if he is. It'd be pretty cool if he is on here. I'm looking at the participants. No, he's not. But if you guys know, there's this guy named Caesar that lives here in Texas. And guys, he's been in the game for 6 years. Believe it or not, 6 years. So he's seen the come before anything with this whole company in general. And comes to find out that in his fifth year, he was ready to quit because he's never made a single dime. I don't mean to put his business out there, but I think he already told the story once before, a long time ago. So I think it'll be okay on a call. He never did. The next thing you know, he died. I don't remember. I think he said he was ready. He was just like ready. And the next thing you know, at the right time, at the right place, XRP. Para arriba, dijo. Para arriba. And the guy, he made 6 figures. No, I think it was like 7 figures, but my mistake. 7 figures on a trade. No, not 7. Crap. Oh, no, here. 5. Yeah, 5. I'm tripping. 5 figures. I remember 21K. Yeah, 21K. I don't know, I was thinking for a second. The 21K. Sorry, guys, it's the ghost. I've been sipping on this all day. I didn't just open it. So, promise you. And again, he made like 21K that time. And the next thing, boom, changed his life completely. So my question to you is this. I get it. We're going to be here. We're going to wait all the time. But can you actually wait and like actually wait for that timing. But as well, don't just sit there and be pretty or look handsome, or whatever the case may be, and just hope and wait. You know, because again, 6-7 years gonna pass by, and if you're still hoping and waiting, not doing anything, then yeah, you're right. You know, at that point, you're just kind of you're in a position in a room with the right people. But it's like when you have the right information, you're not really doing anything with it. It's like, then what? ¿Para qué sirve para nada, verdad? So, guys, drop a number 1 in the chat if you're ready to get inside the charts. Just had to get you guys right, because we just did our number 1 for our confirmation checklist. And if you know that when it comes down to the confirmation checklist and marking up charts, you have to set your mind straight. And I wanted to make sure everybody's mind was right for every single level inside this call here specifically, guys, because the goal is tonight is to understand that when we're marking up charts and stuff like that, we're pretty much understanding that this is all a language. And I was actually telling this to someone earlier that I had to do a one-on-one call with before this call. I was telling her, I was just like, if you really think about it, it's like, if you want to first understand like SMC and understand like the markets and stuff like that, my biggest tip for you is obviously kind of, go through like levels with Vinny, because you'll learn market structure in that case scenario. But as well too, if you are doing something like that, understand that if you want to go into depth, right? If you want to go into depth with the markets and stuff like that, it's obviously studying the bounce back boot camp and stuff like that. But I decided to do this, right? I think maybe a lot of us, and the chat is open for anything as well too, because I like to have conversations with open chat as well. But the biggest thing I always told everybody once before, I was like, guys, if you are wanting to get to a point inside your trading where all you're looking at, right, is more so like naked trading, like that's what we like to call it. It's like when you have literally nothing on your chart, you're just reading price action, or you're just reading what the candles are putting out for. I think you have to really, really, fully understand and go deep into a couple of things, because really the only thing I'm gonna just say, the people I really heavily watch, like my foundation, like you see how whenever if we want to build a trade house and stuff like that, ew, that's ugly. But if we draw this real quick, like this is my house, my trade house, it's like my concrete floor foundation is obviously Mike's way he approaches the market, right? Obviously the overall confirmation setup that I'm about to explain to you guys when it comes down to this. But I pretty much am developing a mindset on how Jordan Morgan pretty much thinks of the market as well too. Like before anything, think about it like that. I'm gonna repeat it again. The same way I approach the market every single time, whenever I'm marking up, my foundation is Mike. But everything else besides that, like the overall, like the borders, the roof and stuff like that, I really decided to kind of really transition into more of what are the candles and the market pretty much telling me. Because guys, there's a lot of calls on this and throughout Powerhouse itself that we have that, again, amazing traders on here, honestly. And one of the biggest things I always say is like, if you have not yet, right? If you have not yet been able to plug in to obviously Jordan Morgan's session, or you've already kind of hopped into Mike's boot camp and stuff like that, if you haven't yet, I would strongly suggest you every single day at 12 p.m. Central. That'll be 10 a.m. for you guys in Pacific, and as well for Eastern, that's 1 p.m. Guys, stay dedicated to this guy right here. You'll actually be surprised if you actually commit for a whole year, right? I remember actually, is she on here? I think she is, but Krista knows. I remember whenever I've been to Bakersfield, I told her literally specifically out there, I was like, Krista, I'm going to study Jordan Morgan, heavy girl. And I'm going to learn literally how he approaches the market, how he thinks it, and, kind of go from there. Because there's a couple of things we're going to talk about is kind of obviously observing the masses, but doing the complete opposite. But as well too, how can you get to a perspective as well inside the market where now like you're really looking at it, but you're very cautious with it, right? Because I'm gonna show you a couple of things that I pretty much saw throughout the week that I sent some ideas out to the team in Latino America, because I do as well Spanish sessions for them as well too. But I sent them a trade idea that I was thinking that where the market could potentially go to. And if you guys ever seen like how's the fact that you can get these minimum little risk, right? These inefficiency sniperish entries and gain like very minimum risk, but to have these great rewards. Guys, again, it's not all about, right? It's not all about having the snipericious. I know it's nice, but as well too, as long as you're profitable and you have a nice risk to reward to it, I think that's all that matters. I'm gonna be honest with you. But the really biggest thing is this. If you can get to a point where now you're actually just letting the candles, right? Letting the candles actually just tell you a story, then you'll be able to kind of have everything click to you little by little. Think of this in this case scenario. Imagine all of us right now, right? Imagine all of us right now had to take a test, okay? Let's just say that it was a math test. And they're like, okay, guys, here's the math test. Here you go. And what I'm gonna give you guys is I'm gonna give you guys a cheat sheet. But the cheat sheet is actually going to be in Chinese form. Now, drop a number 1 in the chat if you can read Chinese or any other language like that that's besides what you know, right? If you know, cool. If you don't, just imagine that. Imagine taking a test and they allow you to cheat with the cheat sheet, but it's in a different form of language. It's like, damn, well, how the heck are we going to cheat on this damn test if we don't even know what the heck we're reading, right? Does it make sense? Well, over time, I try to kind of figure out a way, okay, how can I make this make sense to people? How can I make this make sense? Sometimes, guys, the markets, they're giving us a cheat sheet right in front of your eyes without even knowing it, but it's in candle form language. And you don't even know it. How does that happen? How does that happen whenever you have a candle form language cheat sheet in front of your eyes and, you're trying to read the candles and stuff like that? And so, like, here's a couple of things that I kind of came to the conclusion is, if you use confirmations, perfect. If you use anything else, I decided to kind of put that to the side and use it last whenever I am using my confirmation checklist. Because a couple things that I'm going to show you guys real quick, just because it is Friday and I don't want to use too much of the time right now because we only have 30 minutes left, is this specifically, right? Number one, like whenever US 30 was, rising up to the upside, right? We understand that on a bigger time frame, whenever you are trying to trade, or if you're intraday trading or you're swing trading, you want to look at that bigger time frame, right? We get it. The overall direction, that's super important. But the biggest thing here that I was really looking at was specifically on how we were actually going to approach this this area here whenever we approached US 30, because everybody's eyes was on it, right? Everybody's eyes was on this zone specifically. Because if we actually drop down to 1 hour time frame, there's a couple of things that we can kind of look at specifically before we kind of do anything. And I'm going to back this up a little bit because I'm going to back test it for you guys. But whenever we are approaching the market, very simple and easy. Remember, the foundation that I kind of, use all the time is the way on how Mike approaches the market specifically. So if this is your first time ever, obviously hop on his session and go watch that first before anything, because this may be like a Chinese language to you. But easy quality buy setup, and as well too, whenever you're looking for the opportunity for a sell setup as well. Here's an example for the sell setup as well, quality setup. As you can see, I try to make this as easy, as simple as possible, because that's the goal here, is trying to make it as simple and easiest as possible, right? So this is where we kind of get to an idea where we're looking at US 30, here's a breakdown. And what we're going to do here, guys, is actually fully understand on a couple of things when it comes down to these nice entries, but actually how to really think with the cheat sheet in front of us, right? How do we use the cheat sheet in front of us? And so if you think about it, let's drop down to the 30-minute time frame, right? And so whenever at the time being, it's like we see US 30 at the time building up all this liquidity for periods and multiple days or so, clearing this out as well. Obviously shooting up to the upside, bingo, and then shoots down. But then over time, we started to see US 30 building up money, right? People are just selling. And as well too, a nice little big drawdown to the sell, and as well area just continue to sell here. Now, this is where we obviously see a nice reaction where the market decides to push back up to the upside, clearing all this money out, right? We all understand that right there this is all retail money. Now, one of the biggest things, guys, that I tell everybody specifically is if you have a chart that looks like this and you're like, okay, well, what's next, right? Let's kind of take out the confirmation checklist. Well, when we take out the confirmation checklist, like I said, we already did number 1, and that was the first beginning of the call. Number 2, right, the market structure, we looked at the bigger time frame. It's very bullish. So I'm going to be honest with y'all. This setup right here, if you take it, understand that the bigger time frame, right, the bigger time frame that we're on, it's very bullish. All right, let's go back to the 8-hour time frame. Very, very nice big bullish movement, right? So we're aware that if we do take any type of possible selling areas, it's probably gonna need to be like a counter trend, like a little slight retracement. But for me personally, like I was very, very big bullish on this. Like I'm just looking for this big move. And the plus as well too, if you hop on the back testing calls and you already understand about big wicks like to get filled in, then you understand it as well. And so like, if you think about it, it's like, okay, I understand that US is very bullish. If I do take some type of selling area, I'm understanding I'm not going to hold it for a long time. Well, Neri, what if it does shoot all the way down to the downside? Well, if you caught it, you caught it, man. Shout out to you. Let us know. But if you haven't, if you understand it's not, then understand that, okay, cool. You're not going to go on a massive downtrend selling perspective, right? So as well too, guys, once we understand that, we're like, okay, cool. The market structure, it looks pretty good. Again, it's very bullish for me at the time being for the bigger time frame, right? We already know where the area where there was clear liquidity for a number 3. Now, a lot of us, right? And I'm actually gonna, and if you guys want to screenshot this because I'm about to color code this, I'm gonna color code this blue, and I'm gonna color code this one liquidity. Let's see. I think I'm gonna color code this. And I'm gonna go back. Yeah, I messed up right here. Cool. I'm gonna color code this one. Yeah, blue. I'm gonna color this one blue. Because my goal is to help you train your eye, guys, right now. I'm gonna color code this one red. And I'm gonna color code this one as well red. No. Right there. Bingo. So institutional position is color coded red. Imbalance is blue. And our mitigation is gonna be red. And our inefficiency is gonna be blue. Now, keep in mind, remember that the reason why I'm color coding this right now is because institutional candle is going to have some type of relationship with mitigation, and imbalance is going to have some type of relationship with our number 9. And I'm going to tell you guys why. So if you want to screenshot that, screenshot it right now. In 3, 2, 1, perfecto. So look at this. So now that we kind of color coded this right here, guys, right, to train our eyes real quick. One of the biggest things I want to say is this: if we're already on our number 4, where we're kind of following our confirmation checklist, right, for our institutional position that clears all this money out, understand that if you don't see it on that certain time frame, go on a time frame that makes the most sense to you, right? Maybe for a lot of our vendor traders right now on this call, you probably see it, right? You're like, okay, that's obvious, an institutional candle. But what if you're that person where you're still training your eye for it? Go on a time frame that is showing you a solid institutional candle. And roughly, probably that's our 8-minute time frame. The reason why I have an 8-minute time frame, guys, is because I pre-framed the premium trading view. So I think it will still allow you if you're just paying the regular one, I believe. But I have every time frame on here because I like to do situations like this where I can show you guys a real life example on a solid institutional candle. Because if we are in a 15-minute time frame, again, for my veteran traders, you probably see it. But what if you're still training your eyes? Go on a time frame that makes the most sense for you. For me personally, it would have been our number 8, our 8-minute time frame. So big, aggressive, big push up that happens right over here that clears all this money out. And then all of a sudden, right, our number 5, the imbalance that decides to push market all the way down very aggressively. So the goal was to always, right, these guys' goals was to always go down. They always wanted to go down. All these trend line traders, right? I'm not trend lines, but resistance traders. They wanted to go down. But the goal was to take these guys out before anything. And that's what happened, right? Then you have a big, aggressive, big push down. Think about it. It's like, okay, cool. For veterans traders, we can see it. It's a big imbalance that moves downwards. But what if you're still training your eye? All you see is probably regular candles just melting downwards. So what do? You probably go in a time frame that makes the most sense. 30-minute. And if we go in a 30-minute, okay, it's obvious, right? Still candles melting down. But it's like, where can I find a solid imbalance candle? What time frame? And usually, right, here's an example. This is what I literally do on the market whenever I'm marking up, is there it goes. Bingo. I just found it. So on a 2-hour time frame, this is a strong imbalance, right? So what I'm gonna do here, guys, is I'm gonna highlight you guys the red imbalance real quick. So you guys can kind of pay attention to this right here. So everything inside that red box is part of the imbalance. It's part of it. So if I go back down to a 1 hour time frame, you guys see that everything that's inside this red box is still part of the imbalance. Again, I'm helping you train your eyes right now, guys. That's why there's so many colors going around. But as you can see here, everything that is red inside the red box is part of the imbalance. But now if we kind of come back here, right? Back to our confirmation checklist. We already did our number 3. We already did our number 4. Now we already did our number 5, right? Our change of character. Right now we have, and shout out to Vinny and all the level trays out here, guys. All right, drop a number 1 in the chat for Vinny real quick, guys. Drop a number 1 in the chat. And if you're in the garage, say thank you, Vinny. If you're with him, say thank you, Vinny. Right, sheesh. Where's Angie? Sheesh. So that's going to be a big thing I would definitely say, guys. Like, obviously, shout out to Levels because that guy pretty much really broke everything down for us from the difference from breaking structure and change of character. But as you can see, pretty much if your eyes can't see it yet, as you can see, pretty much price does give us a whole change of character right over here, pushing price down and overall maintaining price for quite some time. Cool. So now we have that. So then now we have our mitigation. Remember, if you did screenshot it earlier, then use your notes that I'm about to show you right now. But our mitigation, super, super important, guys, because let's go back to the 8 hour time frame. Let's find out where exactly that institutional candle really began. And this is how you actually kind of get that answer right there. You kind of get it from a perspective where, again, you see it. Where does an institutional candle begin? To where does it end? Obviously, it ends all the way to here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much extend my box from where it begins and all the way to ends here. We could have it like that, but I'm going to have it above the wick because for my stop loss and stuff like that. And that's one thing right there. Bingo. So then now that we have that mitigation box from where it begins to where it ends, the rule, guys, is very strict and straight to the point. We can pretty much enter the market as long as it's inside the mitigation box. And guys, drop a number 2 in the chat if you fully understand like the idea behind mitigation or the institutional candle. Right? And if you don't, it's totally fine because tomorrow's backtesting. And that's where we'll do it on there. Cool. Cool. No worries. If you feel like you don't know it fully enough, like I said, tomorrow I'll hop on the backtesting session. We'll kind of go into depth with that. But as you can see, guys, here specifically, the zone from the bottom to the top, now we have the whole zone where potentially now the market could potentially mitigate, guys, right? Where it could mitigate. So awesome. So now we just did our number 7. Obviously, our number 8, divergence and correlation. We kind of go back in time, comparing it with other pairs and stuff like that we had earlier with NOS 100, XPX. Some people do it, some people don't. Really up to you whenever you're doing the back testing, stuff like that. But in this example, just to save some time, let's just say we just did it and we liked US 30. Cool. So now that we have that, right, now we go to our number 9. This is actually one of my favorite things. Our number 9. And I personally had added this into my trading confirmation checklist ever since I started watching Jordan Morgan, because he started talking about a lot about inefficiencies. And so this is like the easiest way I can put it, again, just to save us time right now. But the easiest way on how you can actually approach this is this. Now, our goal right now, when it comes down to inefficiencies, is our goal is going to be trying to find this. What's on the left side? This is an easy way on how to identify in a true imbalance. Again, it's not the true definition, but it's an easy way to kind of, train your eye for it. If there's a gap between the market and there's 2 lines from wick to wick, and there's a little gap right there, then it's an imbalance. If it's on the right side and it's wick to wick that closed out the candle, then that it's a balanced candle. So our goal tonight is going to be looking for this inside the imbalance into here. So as you can see, guys, right, now let's go into here. And the reason why I have our number 9 as inefficiency entry, but in parentheses imbalance, is because the goal is to find the imbalance inside whatever's inside this red box. But remember, it has to be inside the mitigation box. We're not changing anything. It has to be inside here. So anything outside of this box right now, we do not care about it, right? We do not care about it. We're pretty much making sure that we're very strict to our rules. and that overall we're paying attention to what's inside the mitigation into here. So now when I zoom in on let's kind of start off for a big time frame, on a 15-minute time frame, you start to see this. Okay, well, it looks like this whole thing is in balance inside the box, right? That's one thing, but personally, if I had it highlighted like this, obviously I'm not going to enter this entry because I give 2 entries out all the time, the lower one and a higher one. I'm like, and I'm not going to enter that because it's already breaking my rules. Why would I get that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a time frame that pretty much is showing me inefficiency. And so now what we see here is now we're presented with a couple of imbalances. We have this lower one here and this wick. As you can see, it's inside the box. So now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, this is a true inefficiency. But the thing is, personally, I'm not willing to risk about almost 127 pips. Well, if you are, then it's up to you. But for me, not really. So how can I really kind of minimize this? But when I look a little bit more closer, right, I start to see that there's actually a little bit more of a slight gap in there. This little higher one. It actually interests me, this right there. And so I'm like, okay, I actually like this higher entry up here for an efficiency. And then obviously it's still like a lot of, pips to risk. But what I'm doing is I'm willing to risk probably less. I mean, like minimize my risk to that. So what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna go on a smaller time frame. So it's, as you can see, it's a lot of back and forth, but with practice, I promise you, you got this. At the time being, whenever we were close to here, I was able to drop down to a 30-second time frame because we're close to it. But now since we're so far, 30 seconds, TradingView is like, what the heck are you doing? I can't go back to that far in time. I don't even remember what happened that time. So it won't actually let us print it out in detail what happened there. But at the time being, and whenever we zoomed into here, what we pretty much saw was this. Same exact thing, but in an efficiency way. Same exact thing I'm doing with you guys right now on this call. And so I like this area a lot. And I was like, you know what? I like this here. And I put my stop loss above here and decided to do this. You know what? I'm willing to take this counter trend trade on US 30. I'm not going to hold it for a long time, but I'm willing to take it. Let's see. I want to do this without having to cheat. So I don't know. Crap. Cool. Now we got here. So now that we see here, right, at the time being, we officially had US 30 come into here. Price was buying, and I'm pretty sure many of you guys kind of saw this as well for US 30 for like potentially reentry. Would have been nice as well too. A nice 1 to 2 at the time being. Pretty fire. So if you caught that, amazing job. But for me, again, I was waiting for this higher entry here. So now at that point, I was able to minimize my risk to potentially now, at the time being, about now a 30 pip risk. And then depending on what prints out here. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I was like, okay, well, where am I going to exit out at? Because obviously your entry could be all nice and shit, but I'm sorry. It could be all nice. But the thing is, you want to make sure you have your exit as well. Because what pays you? What pays you guys? Your entry, stop loss, or take profit? ¿Se lo saben o no? Perfecto. Parece que sí. Si no sabemos. Cool. El TP. Exactly. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. So it's like, okay, cool. If exit pay us, then at that point scenario, we have to find out where the exit out is. So remember, the bigger time frame, it was very bullish, right? So I know for a fact, I'm not going to hold this all the way crazy to the downside, as much as that'll be awesome. For me personally, I wanted to be very conservative with my capital, and as well to make sure that I'm at least guaranteeing me some type of, what's it called? At least profits to it, right? So as you can see here, price main is breaking, and now we're seeing, okay, cool. It's easy to kind of tell that maybe potentially we can come into this imbalance here, as you can see. So I'm fine with taking that because I'm still going to be following the trend, but as well kind of counter trending without having to go against it fully. Because remember, guys, think of the market as a river. As Vinny talks about this all the time. If the water is floating this way, right, and the water is going strongly this way, and this is you trying to go against it, swimming against it, it's like you can make it as far as distance as possible. But the thing is, there's only a distance on how far you can go. And usually you won't go that far until then the water just takes you and then you're just gone, right? So that's the same thing with the market. You want to make sure that you're going with the flow of the market, because if not, you can go against it, but there's only like a certain distance that you could go to before the market just takes you with it, right? So it's like takes you with it, you know, as much, again, guys, think of it like that too, but think of it in general. As much as we want to fight the market, we can't, right? I challenge you guys to go to the ocean next week and try to fight the ocean. Try to fight it. That's not how it goes, right? Probably won't have some good news. Probably come back and say like, you know what? I ain't nothing to, what if I die? Then I'm not responsible. So ponte una life jacket, okay? But as you guys can see, but let's put it in a bigger perspective. What about the fishermen? Imagine fishermen going out there to catch those crabs out there that they bring to us to restaurants for sea boil, right? Oh, I want to try sea boil so bad, guys. I've never tried it before, but I'm willing to try it. But imagine all those fishermen going out to sea and they're catching all this fish and crabs and all this shrimp and stuff like that. And you know that big tank that they're in, guys? Like that big tank that they're not tank, but the big ship that they're in. That ship weighs like tons and thousands and I believe hundreds of thousands of pounds. But why is it the fact that even though a big ship like that can still get destroyed by the ocean? And guys, doesn't matter how big of a account size you have, you will still get demolished with the market. Think of it like that. Think of it like that. Kevin, you're mean. Kevin just sent me a message on the side. He said, okay, big back. Oh, man. Shout out to Kevin. Bullying me. Ah, what did I do? What did I do right now? Crap. What did I do? Oh, there it goes. Did I erase everything? Did I really erase everything just in front of us? Did I really erase everything? Okay, let me
No,
just.
I think you switched pages.
No, it was this one. It's fine. I got it right now. I'm just gonna put it back where it was. I already remembered. Pretty good. So yeah, that's the thing right there, guys. Like I said, the market pretty much like it will do whatever it takes to pretty much like it just knows. It just knows, guys. So what I said is Diego, like be careful on keeping like your capital preserved. That's why educators are always talking about it all the time, to always make sure you protect your capital all times and understand that we're still no one inside the market unless you're big hedge funds and stuff like that. Cool. So that's where we had it. Cool. So now that we have this here, guys, this is where we get really good with it. Now that we already have our exit and stuff like that, now the cool juice beans will be this. Where can we find our exit? And like I said, at the time being, for me, my exit would be this. Having my take profit here, entry there, stop loss there. I'm willing to risk about 36 pips to potentially make, or 38 pips to write it down here. And next thing you know, we let the market just kind of print out for us, and let's just see it. So this is exactly what was sent out to Latino America. And overall, market came in. Let's delete this up here so I don't get confused. This is the inefficiency gap that I was telling you guys about on the entries. And then next thing you know, market comes in, tax it, and swings all the way to the downside. And it's like, yeah, cool. It went probably about 90 pips more, but it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Like, you know, I'm happy. Well, I'm pretty happy with the 1 and 9. Okay. I'm not really to be like, oh, I want everything. You know, it's fine. So same thing here. It's like, these are what the goals of the inefficiencies is. Like, it can help you minimize your risk, but kind of keep an idea that if you're going to do something like this, you're going to have to come into an acceptance of saying that you're probably going to have to count your stop loss, and you might not have too much room to breathe. Edgar Salinas, ¿cómo estás, amigo? Shout out to Latino America. Drop a number 1 in the chat for Latino America. Latin America's in the house. And these guys only speak Spanish, by the way, guys. Pero ellos saben que no se ocupa hablar inglés aquí cuando estamos marcando las gráficas, ¿verdad? Sheesh.
Hey, they're always on the calls too. That's what's up.
Sheesh. Azucena, let's go. Now they know, like you already know, you don't need to speak the same language to know what's up. So that's going to be an idea for obviously like US 30. Same thing here. We were talking about it with earlier with another call, but here's an example for US30. You can, not US30, but oil. No matter what you're doing with it, you can do the exact same thing over and over. And this oil trade was sent out on the FRX channel this week as well. So if you guys saw, like, we're following the same thing, the clear liquidity, your big institutional candle from where it begins to where it ends. Now we know for a fact that anywhere in here inside the zone, we can see some type of mitigation into here. And every time the market kept touching this blue thing, like the blue zone, you see how it reacted? React for buy. So it's like now we can actually see that anywhere in here, we could potentially see some type of reaction, right? And so we follow back again one last time of exactly what we just did, but now in an efficient manner, right? The clear liquidity for our number 3. This whole thing is institutional candle move, clears it out, right? And then you have this big imbalance to the downside. Price maintains. Sometimes if your eyes can't see it tampoco, guys, like if you can't see it, grab, use a line graph. Shout out to Will, because I remember he was showed a lot in his sessions. And by the way, if you haven't hopped on his knowledge sessions, I would recommend it, because you're missing out on a lot of money. Okay, so this is an idea. Look at that. Change of character, breaks in and maintains below, right? I get it. Like, look at that, Neri. But wouldn't you want to get into this buy right here? Looks pretty nice. Of course. Look at that. Very nice reaction. But let's zoom out a little bit. What's the overall direction? And is there any signs yet that is indicating that we are going to start shifting direction? Personally, for me, not really. And that time being, I was seeing it more so was just shooting downwards. It's going a daily time frame. It was just shooting. So it's like, if it's just shooting to the downside, why not just follow along with it? Remember, it's like the ocean. Why would you want to go against the ocean? Just kind of ride along with it. So it's like, here we are, institutional candle, the imbalance, price maintains, mitigation at that point scenario. Where is the inefficiency entry? From wick to wick. So it's like, let's actually confirm that this is actually a true imbalance though. Let's drop down to a 15-minute time frame. Oh crap. Neri, you didn't tell us about this. You didn't tell us that if we zoom down, there might be 2 imbalances. Which one do we pick? Let's use before we use Fibonacci and stuff, let's kind of just use our eyes real quick. Obviously in the Fibonacci tool, you'll probably want to use the 786, 886. But for me, obviously for just to kind of tell what the cheat sheet, what the candles are giving me, I'm just going to go based off of this higher thing, this imbalance. Because even if you want to go based off of the whole fib level, at least it's kind of lining up with the 786 in the middle. But for me, it's going to close this whole inefficiency. Guys, the banks and everything like that, believe it or not, I truly believe whenever you understand how the markets operate, you start to just accept and just move just like them. Simple as that. Accept and move just like them. And again, tomorrow we're going to go into more depth on what I mean by this. So tomorrow I'm going to go on the backtest session again, guys, because again, I want to save so much time on here. But if you drop this all the way down, we already have an understanding that this is a big, massive wick, meaning that there's people stop losses right over here. Because anybody that was trying to buy here, think about it. Anybody that's going against the market, you're in big blues as we speak. So hopefully at this point scenario, you've already move your stop loss to break even. But if you really think about it, you're counter trading the market. What do the banks see you? Okay, you have your stop loss right there. Easy target. Don't you think they're going to probably type you out? So it's like, you could write this to the upside if you wanted to, if you're ping-ponging this, but again, not that long. Don't expect for you to get a whole shift in direction when in reality, you still kind of want to wait, and the overall direction is still kind of showing us a little bit signs it could shoot downwards. But look at this. For me, I'm personally going to just take the sell because of where the market's actually going. And I'm going to go ahead and actually take this selling because it's going to close inefficiency. And as well too, guys, if you saw it inside the FRX channel, make sure you're plugging into this. If you have it on mute, unmute it. If you have any chats unmuted, mute it, unmute it, I mean, because you are missing out on a lot. No lo puedo encontrar. ¿Sabes qué? I would say, what the heck was that? I'm going to say, what the heck? Mira esto. No, I can't find it. I'm not going to even try. But it's like, if you guys remember the US oil trade, having stop loss there, then overall, you're patiently waiting. And next thing you know, price got you in exactly at the inefficiency entry, took you as take profit. And this would have been really, really nice as a trade, right? Minimum drawdown. But again, I'm not worried about the minimum drawdown, guys. What I'm worried about is like, if I can keep a small stop loss, then at that point I can actually, you know, up my lot size a little bit more, and it'll still kind of equal out the same thing for me in a way. So that's one thing. So it's like, even though it's like, yeah, it went a lot more lower, cool, but we're pretty happy because remember what pays us is our take profits. And then obviously from that point on, guys, and here's a good perspective. Like, oh my gosh, this is actually exciting. Remember how I said I'm gonna get geeked out? Here it goes. So if y'all remember this here, who remembers where we talked about at the beginning, where it's like, okay, well, this is a textbook play, clear liquidity, your institutional candle to the upside that breaks up. And now we have this whole thing. I personally saw this sell that we could have taken for oil, but there is one reason why I didn't get into it. Even though, yes, pretty nice textbook, but this is what Jordan Morgan's going to help you do, guys. He's going to make you observe the masses. What is everybody else doing? If this is me, let's just say hypothetically, someone was taking this trade with me and they didn't take a profit here and they're still holding this trade and they have their stop loss up here. What's going to happen when now you have the market taking, doing its thing, but now in this case scenario, showing you some type of signs that maybe we're starting to shift a little bit to the upside, right? And so look at this. Now in this case scenario, you could have probably taken this sell and it would have got you maybe slightly in profits in, right? That was a mitigation right there, guys. So hopefully if you took it, then at that point scenario, you move your stop loss to break even. But let's just say you're still waiting for this. I personally did not get into it because now what I'm doing is, yes, you can stack your order, but market's starting to shift in direction where now I'm starting to think that maybe this right here, I'm just adding more money to where everybody else is adding money to, aka a stop loss, momentum happening. So now what's happening is there's so much money being built up here at this point where now market sees it. And again, if you took it, hopefully you broke even or you took your profit or trying to manage your trade right. But look at this. Let's just say someone was trying to wait for it. Now what's happening is, boom, you enter, cool. But then now what happens? Market takes you out. Because there's so many stop losses up here already stacked up. Will it make you any different from not stacking up? And at the same time, it's starting to show some type of signs of shifting a little bit. So it's like, that's like a perspective to kind of see it, and we can go over and over and over on multiple things on so many ideas that, it does to Bitcoin, oil, NAS. Shout out to everybody that trades NAS, XPX, it goes fully onto that, so it's like, I was kind of salty this morning for the trade idea that we were supposed to take this morning, but it's all good. It's all a good thing, and decided to miss us and take on forward, and nothing crazy. We always have another opportunity to kind of catch. So that's just kind of one thing on how I kind of like look at really more so like how the market is, guys. And how to really just shift this whole thing, because I'll never forget this movement here. Never forget it. We literally talked about it in the back testing session. We literally said, if you're going to get into US 30, buy here because inefficiency has not touched. And if we zoom in a little bit into detail, y no sé si ustedes se acuerdan, amigos de Latinoamérica, sobre esta área aquí. But we were literally talking about this area as well too for US 30, how it was lagging and we wanted it to go shift to the upside. And look what happened. Literally decided, not once, but look at this. Lower entry here. Eventually, it came back. And spread would have got you in. I know for me, spread got me in here. Spread would have got you in. And then you would have been able to write this to the upside. So it's like, there's a lot of good things that you can learn from this. And from that point on, it just took off. Imagine risking about 30 pips to potentially make. And if you are on Will's calls and you understand that he's always looking at the macro perspective, then you would have probably followed along. And you would have understand that risking 30 pips to potentially make maybe about 2,000 pips. It's very possible. Just kind of understanding the market, right? Sheesh. Drop a number one in the chat if you're still with me. Just want to make sure. Porque a veces siento que hablo mucho. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I talk too much. Sheesh. Cool. What I'm gonna do, guys, real quick, because it's already that time right now. I want to leave the floor open a little bit for any questions. Vinny, do you think there should be a little questionnaire right now? What do you think, real quick? Or should we end it now? What do y'all think? What do y'all, if there's questions, let me know.
Yeah, I think we should give a little questionnaire because you don't really hop on as often, and you did break a lot of stuff down. So if you're up for it, a couple
I
questions.
do, dude, I do 2 sessions on the weekend because I don't go out at night, guys. So I'm like a homebody. I like to stay in the house. So it's like I decided to do back to the sessions at night for English and Spanish. So like, yo siento que hago mucho. ¿No cree? A ver, let's see.
You're right. Let's see if anybody.
Erica's like, Erica Duran is like, no, that's not enough, girl. We need más. She's like, we need más.
Telling you.
Okay.
Keep
this guy-
going.
So is this like, let's see, is this like an open option trading, then closable? So is this like open option trading, then our closed option trading? I don't really trade options. So I'm not sure if that's because I'm not understanding the question. So unless you guys, Vinny, if you understand the question, I don't really understand it. You can probably ask more in detail if you want.
I'm not sure because we don't really trade options. Most of
Oh,
us.
Bobik said no. He replied to it, so it looks like no. I would probably get into with Bobik. He knows a lot more. You know, Ozzy as well too. So
Yeah, Ozzy, for
get in,
sure.
yeah, get in contact with him. Do you use other indices to look for divergences, or do you just look at US30? I kind of do 50-50. Majority of the time, I still do. And I've kind of realized a lot of the time US30 and kind of look into it, guys. Majority of the time, every time I look at it, it's always sometimes either the lagging or the leading. And this time in here, whenever US30 was here, guys, it was a lagger. It was a lagger. And I'm gonna tell you guys a story tomorrow about like me making the most rookiest mistake in the world. Ugh. And it's okay. You guys can make fun of me tomorrow with it. It's totally fine because it literally was a rookie mistake where we pretty much probably I caught this bottom right here. I didn't catch this one, but I caught this bottom and this is like a whole big move right here. So yeah, I do. Do you need a do you need a ghost sponsor? Diles, güey, diles que ahora es el tiempo. If you guys have a connection to Ghost, let them know. I like the way you explain the info. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. Like I said, I do go a lot more into detail every Saturday to like an hour, 2 hours straight. So if you speak English or Spanish, let me know and I got you. Chiwis. Who is this guy? Who's Miguel Minero? Who is that guy? Let's see. Are you waiting for an entry confirmation or are you setting sell and buy limits? Honestly, it depends. I know for indices, I don't really set like limits because like of how como rápido es el movimiento, how fast the movement is. So I kind of like actually watch it. If it's a limit, it's probably going to be like more of like a currency pair, like USD CAD, anything like that scenario, but not really. Depends like on the market condition and things like that scenario, that concept. And now we have people laughing. Let's see this for the stop loss. I go to the last high or last low setup in the wick, but I noticed that you didn't use the candle. Can you a little bit more in detail with that? Well, with US30, it's like sometimes you can do this. And again, it's kind of being getting to a point you have to kind of accept this. Like if we have this clear liquidity, institutional candle, the big imbalance to the downside, usually we put our stop loss above here. But let's just say this is indices. Well, we're on a indice chart, so perfect. But let's just say we're looking for a sell. Let me ask you this. Are you personally willing to risk potentially 500 pips? Some people, they are. But I'm asking you directly. Does anybody listen to me right now? You directly, were you okay to risk 512 pips? Again, some people are okay with it. Some people are not. So me personally, no. So sometimes what I do is you can do a couple things. You can obviously wait until market comes into here and wait for some type of signs of a smaller setup. So now you're risking a lot more less. Obviously, it wouldn't be that crazy amount because it's like a big time frame that we're looking at. So let me give you guys a better example. Like this, in this here, obviously you wouldn't risk about almost roughly same thing here, about 200 pips. So some people would wait for the entry to show some type of slight confirmation to do this. So you could do that, right? And then you have that. But sometimes what I do is I look for healthy price action. That's why inside here, inside this whole big movement, I look for another movement I see. That's all I do. Can I find this in here? Do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Nothing changes. So that's exactly what I did for US 30 earlier, is inside that big imbalance, I try to look for this in here. But if I do that, I'm aware that, okay, cool, I'm really minimizing my stop loss and I'm not getting too much room to breathe. But so far with, I've been able to back test this myself already, like obviously every Saturday with you guys, but as well for myself at the beginning before even sharing this with y'all. It works for me and it's been working, honestly. How do you know when the zone has been mitigated? ¿Quieres que te lo diga en español o en inglés? You let me know. So, for you, Erika, anything. Let's see. You let me know. But obviously, to kind of like do both languages real quick, we kind of have an idea where if we are looking at some type of mitigation, todo va a depender, right? It's all going to depend on like the moment that the market comes back into your zone here. If you ever want to kind of see an example, por ejemplo, measuring the institutional candle de aquí, let's just say, por ejemplo, right now it's 302 pips. The moment cuando tú ves una reacción fuerte, the moment that you guys see a very aggressive reaction that could potentially be the same amount of pips of 302, that's when to mitigate it, right? That's one example of mitigation, but that's just personally how I take it, just because hay un razón atrás de todo esto. Like there's a reason behind this whole thing. So it's like, there is a reason why all of this there was a lot of money being used just to dump in the market. And now they're having to pay themselves back with the same amount of money just to move the market back down. Y mañana les voy a explicar todo eso en más detalle and in the Spanish Latinoamerica call. So just remind me and I got you. So that's an example. Sheesh, you guys are something else. Okay. Also, are you more of a swing trader or versus day trader? I think I'm 80% like day trading, and then like the rest is like swing trading because I'm still willing to hold a trade. But the longest trade I've ever held in my life, but my time being here has been like a month, and it was AUD. It was AUD USD because it took a long time. But I was aware that it's a currency, so I was kind of waiting. Let's see here. She's been laggy. What do you look for to determine a mitigation? Same thing right here. Like I said, just that big fast reaction. So if you ever see that reaction, like for example, going back to the US 30 real quick, if I find it, but if like that fast reaction that we saw was this right here inside the mitigation zone. So when we're mitigating here, you see how it reacted very aggressively. That mitigated for me. What trading platforms do you use for trading? Trading platforms. So personally, for a live account, I use Ox Security, and I'm trading with an else as well too. But majority of the time, I use more Ox Security. Marking up charts, TradingView, as you can see, we're on it. So I would kind of do your due diligence on what you kind of like in general. But personally, I've been on Ox Security ever since Ozzy kind of found it. I believe Ozzy and Will. So the strategy can be used on options trading though. Question, if you have a higher take profit, time frame. If you have a higher time frame starting point and then go down to a lower time frame and see that it is a completely liquidity, what does that tell you? And how does that go along with your analysis? Sorry, bro. I know you asked the question right. Let me just read it myself again. Let me see. Okay, if you have a higher time frame starting point and then go down to the lower time frame, you see the complete liquidity. What does that tell you? Well, it's like if I'm on the higher time frame at that point, like for an example, here's a what?
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, if this is a higher time frame point here, like just say this is a 4 hour, and I see that whole thing that I'm waiting for, but then if I go on a smaller time frame, if you're trying to say like a smaller time frame in here, and I see it maybe potentially, and now it's a 15-minute, and I see the exact same thing on a 15-minute.
Yeah.
This one, it would just depend, dude, because the thing is, if that 15-minute is somewhere this low, but there's like signs showing me more of like that it could go a lot more higher for many reasons, price could be very aggressively, pues I could
Sí.
wait for the 4-hour time frame more, depending on how we're working our way to get there. Like perfect example can be US oil. You know, US oil is going to be a trade idea that I'm gonna probably send out next week. Depends on how we get there. Like I have this, and this is a perfect example: the clear liquidity, your institutional candle that decided to push back very aggressively up to the upside, and this whole big imbalance. And that's one on a 4-hour time frame. But if I shoot down to the 15-minute time frame, right? It's like now I see that inside this whole zone, there's probably a little bit more detail. And the biggest thing that I saw here, I think it was this right here, yeah, was this the clear liquidity again. And then institutional candle. And I understand that there's liquidity up here, and that's what's bothering me is all of this. So what I'm starting to think is like, okay, it could react aquí, but because like there's indication where there might be some type of chance that it could just demolish it, then I'm
Right.
going to kind of wait and see how we work our way there. But then now when I'm looking at this more and I'm kind of explaining out to you guys now out loud,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, damn, if this gets obliterated, then there might be a chance that it could potentially run a little higher depending.
Oh, okay.
That's how I would say.
Perfect.
Shuffling with the TPs on different time frames. Do you look for your TPs on the same time frame, or do you find your trade? So if you're looking for the take profits and stuff like that, number one, understand what time frame you're on, but as well to the market direction, like the market structure. So like for an example, if you are on a bullish time frame, right? Let's say you're very bullish and this is a 4-hour time frame, and the next thing you know, you find yourself finding like maybe a 15-minute time. Well, no, probably like a 5-minute, let's say 5-minute, a 5-minute time frame somewhere in here, and it's like a slight maybe indication where you could take the counter trend. Again, obviously, if you wanted to counter trend this, and Will is amazing at explain this a lot more in his sessions, is if you're going to take some type of counter trend trade, understand, don't take it that far, you know, because if you want to see a big direction where this slight 5-minute time frame can take you to the downside, let's say, because remember on a 4-hour time frame we're very bullish. If you want to take it to the downside, wait on a bigger time frame and wait for indication for you to show you more of like a change of character showing, and then maybe on a bigger time frame you could take it downwards, where now you can probably write it to take profit over here. But if depending on how you're working your way into there is how it's going to kind of be. Hopefully that helped out. So is this like an open? Okay, those are right there. It's the same thing. Okay, so y'all guys, okay. Send the Spanish thing. Yeah, I'll send the Spanish thing tomorrow in the chat. Yo soy papá. No creo. Who is that guy again? Let's see. Can't 500. Nah, bebes. Yep. Okay, with a reasonable lot size. Cool, cool, cool. Repetition. Big. What would be reasonable? Okay, cool. He answered that. When price taps into your zone, can you zoom into the smaller time frame and look for the same setup that occurred in the original structure? Exactly. That's exactly what I do, bro. That's exactly what I do. This can be applied out of the market. This is a gold. Yeah, exactly. Chancla, yes. Va a hacerlo como 400 chanclados. Let's see, Matt. Emotions on time frames. Emotion on time frames. Emotions on time frames. Interesting. Do you trade BTC? I actually do. I actually do, but whenever it looks like a very textbook play, you know, like I haven't, like this was the last BTC trade I took. And I did send it out. And guys, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. At the end of the day, like I'm not the type of person where it's like, oh, it's my trade. Like if you don't take it to trade, it's probably because you didn't see it, and that is totally fine. You know, that is a beautiful thing about this market. It's like, you know, we all see different things, but this is the last BTC trade I took. So after that, I haven't really took anything else. Same thing, clear liquidity, institutional candle, begin bounce to the upside, price maintain, and we actually stacked our way into there. So it's pretty fire. If you guys remember. Thank you. What is your top advice to a new person that wants to be profitable? Number one, have a trading plan. Number two, do not over leverage. And number three is follow and make sure you have proper risk management. No, but Junior just sent a gold trade that's going to go to the heavens. We're going to over leverage. It could go your way, bro. But the thing is, it's like you want to be very cautious though, because at that point, it's like, now what? You know? You can have one trade that can change your life completely, or you have one trade that can literally destroy your life completely. And then you're like, damn. you know? But guys, hopefully this helped out. It looks like the questions are pretty much over, and we're gonna kind of end it off right there because we did go beyond over our time here. But guys, really specifically, just make sure that overall USD CAD, USD switch, clear liquidity, institutional account, months downside, inside there. Yeah, honestly, I think that was pretty fire. I think that was pretty fire. I think I liked it. Wow. Let's see. Let's see. What time frame was that again? You had it on 5-minute time frame. I think, yeah, this is actually pretty good. I like it because you have the overall direction correct. Just fire shots at Alex. Low liquidity, 30-minute time frame, or let's say, I actually want to make sure it's actually good. So, should come to the beginning to the other side, this imbalance. So 5-minute, somewhere to here is where I would probably get myself into. Let's actually confirm that's actually a true imbalance. So 3-minute. Yeah, look at that. True imbalance. Drop that one more time downwards. Yeah, true imbalance. So I think that's pretty fire, girl. I would take it. Make sure you take your trade because it's actually fire. So sheesh. Let's get it, guys. Well, besides that, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pass it back to Vinny. Remember tomorrow I'll actually explain a little bit more into depth with it. And we went beyond overboard. So if you do speak Spanish, hacemos las llamadas también en español. So si ustedes quieren aprender un poquito más lenguaje en español con las gráficas, aquí los puedo ayudar completamente, guys. And if you don't speak Spanish, well, we got you guys on 10 p.m. Central for tomorrow. So Vinny, I will pass it back to you.
Bro, what in the world? That is crazy, guys. Give me a 777s if you guys got some value.
Sure.
Bro, that was crazy. Breaking down charts, super detailed and fluent Spanish. I don't even know how to follow up, bro. I really don't. Like, you guys are looking at me like, what is he gonna do? Like, bro, I'm not doing nothing. I got nothing else. I can't follow that. But guys, if you guys are new on the call, give me a 1 on the if you guys are new. How many of you guys are new? Guys, did you guys get some value? Give me an 8 if you guys got some value because, bro, I've been here for 3 years now, and every time Neri hops on these calls, guys, I'm always getting some type of clicking moments. Every single time. Every single time. And she's always helped me out a lot. Like, I can't even, like, one, Neri, I appreciate you for giving us your time because I know you're super, super busy. But guys, the way she breaks down charts is something else. If you guys are gonna be hopping on her call tomorrow, it's at 8 p.m. PST, right? Make sure you guys be plugging in. She will be going live, right? But if you guys had a good time with us and you guys learned something, make sure you guys reach back with the person who invited you on this call, right? Make sure you guys reach out. That way we can go ahead and get you started on your trading journey. But with that being said, guys, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you on Neri's call tomorrow, and I will see you guys on the levels call on Monday. Peace out, guys.